everybody, I hope you're having a wonderful day. I got the idea for today's video while I was filming my video about common expressions that don't make sense. I thought we need to talk about how some of these expressions came about. We use many expressions that everyone just understands, but when you think about them, they are a little odd. It's raining cats and dogs? What's that about? Today we'll talk about how these expressions originated. Let's start with "it's raining cats and dogs." The precise origins of this expression are not known, but there are several contenders. One theory is that in Tudor times, the common folks would set up a sleeping space for their pets in the rafters of their homes. These sleeping spaces would consist of a bed of thatch resting on the beams, and the roof of the house itself was also made of thatch. During a heavy rain, the thatch of the roof would collapse, and the pet's bed would collapse, resulting in them falling to the ground. Another theory is that the expression is derived from the French word "cadadoup," which means waterfall. It is possible that in a centuries-old broken telephone kind of scenario, the word cadadoup morphed into cats and dogs. But for me, the most plausible explanation is this. Centuries ago, big cities, or what were considered at the time to be big cities, lacked decent drainage systems. When it rained heavily, a lot of the stray animals that lived on the streets would drown, and because sanitation wasn't that great either, they would just be left there to rot. People would emerge from their homes after the rain and see these dead animals on the street. In 1710, poet Jonathan Swift made reference to this in his poem entitled "A Description of a City Shower." To be honest, I've always found this one a little bizarre. When you say you're going balls to the wall, it means you're going all out. But it seems to me that someone in this position would not get a whole lot done, if you get my meaning. As it turns out, this expression has a very logical origin story. It actually comes from the world of military aviation. A lot of Vietnam-era aircraft had controls with rounded hand grips on them. One of these controls was the throttle, which controlled speed, and another one was the joystick, which controlled whether the nose of the plane was pointing up or down. If the pilot pushed the throttle and the joystick as far back as possible right to the firewall of the cockpit, the plane would go into a maximum speed dive. Since the controls were shaped like a ball in the end and maximum effect was derived by pushing them all the way to the firewall, the expression "balls to the wall" came about. This expression featured in my Expressions That Make No Sense video. I went into some detail about how much room you would actually need to swing a cat. I'm a little bit of a math geek, so if you like that kind of thing, check it out. Here's the thing though. This expression actually has nothing to do with cats, which is fortunate. I would hate to think of anyone actually swinging a cat. In centuries gone by, a long time ago, sailors were frequently disciplined for their misdeeds by being whipped. Yes, it was savage. The implement that was used to punish them was a whip with 9 tails on it. Each tail had a series of knots that were designed for maximum pain. The whip was called the cat o' nine tails, or simply the cat. Now, anyone who has been below deck in any kind of sailing vessel will know that there's not a lot of space down there. So the punishment was administered on the deck where there was enough room for the whip to be swung, or where there was enough room to swing the cat. When we say we turn a blind eye to something, it means we are deliberately ignoring or overlooking something that we should be paying attention to. Like the "swinging a cat" expression, this one has its origins in the world of maritime warfare. During the siege of Copenhagen in 1801, Horatio Nelson was ordered to withdraw, but he didn't want to. But if he didn't, he could get into serious trouble. His only recourse was to pretend that he hadn't seen the signals coming from the flagship. He did this by holding a spyglass to the eye that had been blinded during a prior battle. Because he, quote-unquote, didn't see the order to withdraw, the attack went ahead and it led to a major victory for the English fleet. And that's it for today's video. If you're curious about the origins of any sayings or expressions, let me know. I'm open to doing a part 2 of this video. It's fun to learn where these expressions come from. Thank you for watching, everyone. Have a great weekend, and I will see you on Monday.